There's a kind of frustration that doesn't come from failing. It shows up when you're doing what was supposed to work, following the path, hitting the milestones, staying consistent, and still something feels off. Ability isn't the issue, effort isn't either. The weight comes from chasing an outcome that was defined by someone else. You're not losing, you're just playing the wrong game.
This episode is built from a conversation with Gary Vaynerchuk that has nothing to do with tactics or trends. It's about the pressure that sneaks in when you spend too much time measuring yourself against lives you don't live, about how comparison rewires ambition, how expectations turn into quiet resentment, and how progress starts feeling empty when the goal was never yours to begin with. What follows isn't a formula for success. It's a reframing of why so many capable people work hard, stay disciplined, and still feel deeply dissatisfied. Lesson 1. You're not behind, you're misaligned. Most anxiety doesn't come from failure. It comes from comparison that happens quietly. You start measuring your life against fragments of other people's stories, a number here, or a milestone there, or even a moment taken completely out of context. Over time, your own progress stops feeling real. Not because it disappeared, but because you're no longer judging it by your standards. That's where frustration takes root. You're moving forward, but the direction feels wrong. And you're improving, but the effort feels heavier than it should. Misalignment does that. It turns momentum into pressure and growth into self-doubt. Until you redefine what progress actually means for you, every step will feel insufficient. Lesson 2. Patience is the real flex. Speed gets attention. Patience builds outcomes. Most people don't quit because they're incapable. They quit because they expect clarity too early. When results don't show up fast enough, they start questioning the path instead of the timeline. Patience isn't waiting. It's choosing to stay consistent when nothing exciting happens. It's continuing without validation, without visible proof that it's working. The people who last aren't in a hurry. They understand that time, when respected, does most of the heavy lifting. Lesson 3. Success without context is poison. Results are loud. Context is silent. When you only see outcomes, you assume the path was clean, linear, predictable. What you don't see are the compromises, the stalled moments, the periods where nothing seemed to work. That absence of context distorts reality. It makes other people's lives look simpler than they are, and your own journey feel unnecessarily complicated. Once context comes back into the picture, comparison loses its power. What looked effortless suddenly looks human. Lesson 4. Self-awareness beats ambition. Ambition can move you fast. It can also move you in the wrong direction. Chasing goals without understanding yourself often leads to success that feels strangely hollow. You hit milestones that look impressive from the outside, yet feel disconnected on the inside. Self-awareness prevents that. It narrows your options, not to limit you, but to protect you from building a life that doesn't fit. When you know who you are, decisions stop being noisy. You choose less, and regret shows up less often. Lesson 5. Happiness is a strategic choice. Happiness doesn't arrive later. It's shaped by the systems you live inside now. Many people treat it like a reward, something postponed until everything works out, but postponement becomes habit. Designing a life that feels sustainable is not a weakness, it's strategy. When well-being becomes intentional, urgency loses control, and success stops feeling like an escape plan. The strange thing about Gary's mindset is that it didn't suddenly appear when he became successful. It was already there when he was a kid. At an age when most children were just killing time, he was running multiple lemonade stands in the same neighborhood. Not one, several, placed strategically, competing with himself. When lemonade wasn't enough, he started flipping baseball cards on weekends, studying prices, learning demand, obsessing over margins. At one point, he even pulled flowers from his neighbors' gardens and sold them back to the same people. They bought them. And here's the part that makes people pause. He didn't see any of this as hustle. To him, it was just play. That same intensity followed him into adolescence. Losing a game didn't sting, it crushed him. Not because of ego, but because losing felt physically unbearable. Later, when he applied for college, there was no master plan, no guidance counselor. He filled out the forms himself, not fully understanding the process, and sent them anyway. The pattern is clear in hindsight, but bizarre in real time. The pressure, competitiveness, and the refusal to wait for permission.
That voice people describe today, the one that tells them they could be doing more, didn't come from success. It was there long before anyone was watching. The point isn't to copy his intensity, his pace, or his personality. The real lesson is simpler and harder. Most people aren't unhappy because they lack discipline. They're unhappy because they're disciplined in the wrong direction. When you stop borrowing someone else's definition of success, pressure loses its grip. Clarity replaces urgency. That's why the work that actually matters starts with understanding what game you're playing. If this idea resonates, there are 2 books that explore this mindset deeper. Crushing It focuses on building success without pretending there's a single right path. 12.5 goes inward, breaking down the emotional skills that make long-term fulfillment possible. Subscribe if you're done chasing someone else's scoreboard and ready to define your own terms.